So, my task for this assignment is to identify, justify, and plan a digital and collaborative learning innovation applied to a specific area of my practice. So, I drove home from the MindLab contemplating this, and I decided to first look at what I wasn't happy with in my class and what I wanted to be different and how I could go about making it different. Then I approached my professional learning network, and the reason I did this is that I thought a problem shared is a problem halved, right? So what I did was I blogged about it. I talked with colleagues about what they were doing in their classrooms and what was working for them. And I Skyped a teaching buddy and generally just kept on thinking. And the hour to and from the MindLab really came in handy here. My PLN also came through and their thoughts were aligning with my own. So I decided to look at this as an opportunity to grow, both figuratively and literally, using the GROW coaching model for goal setting and problem solving. As well as allowing me to organise my thoughts neatly, I also liked the synchronicity between my desire to help my students to grow as learners and for myself to grow as a teacher. So let's start first of all with my goals. I have three linked ones. My first goal is to have less mat time for my learners. And that's particularly at the times when I'm giving instructions, either to a whole class or mainly when they're in groups. And the second goal is to be more efficient with the giving out of instructions. Because as we move towards more personalised learning, my instructions are no longer all the same for everyone. And I don't like it that some students have to sit through me giving out instructions 5 or 6 or more different times. To have my students become more self-managing learners is my third goal, who are in control of their own learning. I really want them to be driving their own brains. So this leads me to what 21st century learning skills that I was hoping to address through this innovation. And the ones that I'm looking at come from the ITL rubric, and they are ICT for learning and self-regulation, which is a really big one. So I envisage my students using technology in a purposeful and meaningful way, which is mentioned in Teaching in the 21st Century by Sonia Delafosse on YouTube. They need to be active users of technology themselves, using it to construct knowledge from the ITL rubric. And also from there is self-regulated thinkers and learners take responsibility for their lives, their work, and their ongoing learning. And this will be a step towards that for my students. These skills align with the NZC's key competencies of managing self. I want to show my students that they can become lifelong learners and how they could go about doing so. Okay, so let's move on to the reality of what I'm working with. I have a terrific, exuberant class of 30 Year 5 and 6 students who are all very individual and rather loud, and there are many challenging students with high learning needs. They are wonderful, but they're tiring, and a big challenge is getting them to listen to instructions. I find it difficult when I have to get everyone's attention for instructions, which, to be honest, with 30 students is a hard task. I want them to want to learn, I want them to get into class, and I want them to get down to it. And it's the telling of the instructions that seems to lag and lose their interest. But on the upside, I also have several students who don't need me to be the source of everything. They're ready to self-manage. They want to learn to take the steps into sorting out what they want to do, when they want to do it, and to use me more as a resource when they need support or feedback to help them improve and create next steps. It doesn't seem fair that these people have to wait while I try to get across my message to everyone, with many people who are still learning to control their impulsiveness of calling out. In her book, Passionate Learners, Pernell Ripp suggests spending only 1 minute per year of a child's age talking to students during lessons. I know that my instructions at the moment are taking longer than that, mainly because of all the interruptions, and if I had something in class already working away on their own tasks, that would be greatly reduced. I'm also really tired of so many pieces of paper that regularly get lost or ruined, and this just doesn't seem like a very practical way to be working anymore. So earlier in the year I developed what I called a circle of trust. I have 3 levels of students in my class who have differing levels of where they can sit and how often they need to check in with me. I have free rangers, happy mediums and close buddies. And as the name suggests, free rangers are those who are more able to take control of their own learning, and close buddies need to be supported by me a lot more. It came from the students, and with tweaking it, it could be the basis for something workable in conjunction with the innovation I'm thinking of. So that leads me to my options. And the first option is Google Docs. And with this option, I can make changes pretty quickly because we already use Google Docs in class and students are quite familiar with them. I could share a week's document with those ready to self-manage their learning, and they could work to their own time, more or less. I would still be available for help, or could have workshop options where students could opt into them. Students could also contact me via email or shared documents for feedback or to request more help on a certain topic, and collaboration can occur between students on shared documents and timetabling. We could have group calendars as well. And colleagues have advised me that Hapara, my next choice, is very efficient. For instance, you don't have to scroll down a big feed to get to past posts. And we already have it in our school, and my class is all set up for the program. So far, I've only used it for shared documents via the Smart Share feature. And there's a feature called Workspace, and in this space you can plan and create units of work to share with groups of students. And the students can see the work, choose their tasks and submit work online. And you can even create small videos related to the content that I can add to the workspace for students to watch, so they don't have to be there. I don't have to be there for them all the time, and they can rewatch them many times. There are collaborative options as well. Students can work in groups, and we can still use shared Google Docs because Hapara is actually designed as an instructional management system for schools that use GAFE already. That's from the website. And it would also make my marking more simple and tracking who is doing their work each week. The other option is Trello, which I thought of as I like its simplicity, and you can create to-do lists or boards and share them with different groups. Students can message each other and we can allocate tasks to different people, and I can colour code who is who and keep a track on what's being done quite easily. So, where to from here? Where will the road take me next? And after all this thinking and all these ideas, I have chosen that my best option is probably to utilise Hapara Workspace, because it will streamline and individualise my planning and can become a more collaborative tool for my groups to find the work, carry on with it, and share it with me for feedback and feed forward, according to the website. And as well as that, I can increase the use of shared Google Docs and other Google apps. They're linked programs anyway. So I can plan for the week using Hapara Workspace, and by doing so eliminate the need for lengthy instructions, and hopefully that will result giving my students greater opportunities for independence, less need to wait till I give all instructions because my instructions will be on the workspace already, and my marking and tracking of work will be more timely and efficient. My references for this will be on an attached document,